Hey Redeeming Life, Pastor Bryan here. Pastor Brett is going to be preaching to us as we continue in our series, The March to the Cross. This week, the topic is Jesus turning water into wine. He's at a big party, his disciples are there, and they run out of wine, and then Jesus does what Jesus does. But it's so much more than just one miracle. Pastor Brett's going to be talking to us about that. He's already written some great posts on the website and on the city. I want to encourage you to be checking that out, and I really want to challenge you to be reading ahead of time and be prepared. I hope you're talking about this text in your fellowship groups, and by the way, they've started up again, so if you're not in a fellowship group, it is time to get plugged in. You know, we think one-on-one discipleship is so important. You're alone in quiet time with God, and that divine relationship is so important. And our fellowship group time, these are important times for you to grow into the image of Christ. Sunday is good. That's when we come together and we corporately pray and we corporately worship, but all of these other relationships and all these other spaces are so important too. I want to encourage you to be plugging in. I also want to encourage you to pick up this book. It's Ralph Moore's Making Disciples, Developing Lifelong Followers of Jesus. This book is awesome. This book is what we want to be as a church. Disciples of Jesus, making disciples of Jesus who make disciples of Jesus. And it's so easy. There's nothing difficult in this book. You're going to read it and you're just going to be encouraged. You're going to hear stories of people just looking for opportunities and seizing them. You're going to hear stories of people going the long haul and being available should someone suddenly want to talk about faith. This week, that's happened for somebody in our church. I was hearing the story of this guy in his workplace, and he's been there, and he's just been going, what am I doing in this mission field? And yet, 2 different coworkers said, hey, I want to talk to you about what you believe. It's because God was doing that, and He was available. You know, in case of emergency, break glass. He was the emergency handle when someone suddenly went, I got to figure out this God. It's awesome. It's the mission field you've been placed in, and we're just encouraging you to persevere in these long relationships and trust in God's timing. And then also, I heard a story of a guy who's coming back from California, and he gets snowed in. He can't make it over the pass. They're at the laundromat. They're just talking to some people. Boom, Jesus comes up. Hey, we've got nothing better to do. Let's get together tonight. Let's have a Bible study. So it's like a one-time opportunity because the snow's going to melt, and they're all going to go their separate ways. And yet, think of the seeds that are being planted. There are mission fields everywhere, in the workplaces, in your neighborhoods, in your family, and then in the weirdest circumstances. And so you're going to find that Ralph Moore captures the magnitude of what it is just to be on the ready to make disciples who make disciples. That's what Jesus called us to do. We want to be a church that does that. Please be praying for Pastor Brett as he is preparing a sermon for us. Be praying for Josiah as he'll be preaching a children's sermon. Be praying for Derek as he leads us into the throne room of God. And he's going to be leading in house of prayer. It's just a great week. I want to encourage you to be in prayer, and I want to encourage you to be plugging into various community opportunities where you can grow into the likeness of Jesus Christ. We'll see you Sunday.